Games can be banned for multiple reasons, be it poor controls, weak gameplay, or horrible graphics and sound. So what do you get when you combine all of that and more into one game? Welcome to RoboPit II, or specifically the PAL release of RoboPit II, a game I didn't actually know I had in my collection until I found it there, and I wish that I never even touched the damn thing. Let me just get to the explanation of why this version is straight garbage. Phoenix Games, publisher of legendary bad games like Peter Pan, Snow White and the Seven Clever Boys, and Son of the Lion King, were known as a budget games company. They would buy the rights to anything they could, regardless of the quality, to sell in supermarkets, petrol stations and other non-gaming stores in an effort to try and get unsuspecting parents to purchase them because they were so cheap. In 1997, RoboPit II was released in Japan, adding in a lot of features from the original, such as a story mode complete with cutscenes in-engine and FMVs. Flash forward to 2003 and Phoenix Games publish it in PAL territories, removing nearly all the content from the game. And when I say all, I mean it. From the lack of cutscenes, modes like Versus disappearing, even the intro movie, the music, everything is all gone. From the box artwork to the manual being 4 pages long, everything is as cheaply done as possible for what seems like no reason whatsoever. Originally there was a complete game here, but instead they ripped out content unnecessarily for no obvious reason. So knowing all of this, how does the game play? Quite honestly, it's utter trash. You start off creating a robot to use like before, but unlike the cute and simple designs previously, these all look like dollar store knockoffs. The stats return, but seem relatively pointless apart from speed. You can equip 2 short weapons this time though, and they do have different functions, some firing weapons and others providing shields. I'll give the game credit that you can colour your creation much better than before, allowing for some unique paint jobs, but nothing amazing. From there, you're placed on a circular map and choose who to fight. There's no ranking like before, instead you're thrown from one bout to the next in an attempt to make it to the middle circle. If you were playing the original Japanese or potentially the American version, you'd be treated to cutscenes informing you as to why this is and what your goal is. But here on the PAL version, there's nothing to explain it, not even in the manual. The actual story is completely different from the first, with you trying to access each core so you can finally shut down the main terminal that's been taken over by a rogue group of robots. It's not exactly Shakespeare, but it gets the job done. This time, the fights themselves are incredibly stiff and boring. The first game wasn't exactly superb when it came to movement and fighting, but it was passable and playable. Here, even turning or attacking is awkward and unresponsive. You can still choose between multiple views, but the default works just fine. Attacks can be comboed into each other, which is an interesting inclusion, but ultimately wailing on your opponent is still the best strategy. That is unless you're against the boss robots. As before, you gain experience after each fight to power up, but these bosses are no joke. The first few times I got absolutely destroyed, as they would just steamroll me and powerbomb me into the ground. Eventually I just circle strafed them, shooting when I could, hoping I would just chip their health away. And as I found out from one round, you do need to KO them, as running the timer out with more health isn't enough. By the time I managed to get to the next area, I was done though. Each fight is either too easy where you can just mash attack, or have to employ incredibly stupid strategies just to prevail. I get that much like the first game, you're meant to improve and power up your robot with new parts and weapons, but there's no actual fun doing so here. The game is such a mess to play that even the pause button doesn't work, instead just leaving you covered with the text with no way of removing it until the fight's over. Whilst it shares the same primitive graphics from the first, I generally think it looks worse here. The models of the robots and parts are confusing and not inspired. It's like they just added random shapes in a 3D modelling program. Plus some bosses have what appear to be human eyes for some reason that's probably never explained, even if the cutscenes were present. I can't actually comment on the music as I haven't heard a single track throughout the game, only the odd sound effect during a fight or on the menu, which makes for an incredibly dull and boring experience. Though I'm pretty sure I'm not missing out on anything, so Phoenix might have done me a solid by removing it this time. There's not many times I'm truly shocked when I pick up a game to play. Unlike Ultraman, where I knew what I was getting myself into, I'd only read the odd review of this game, and from what I read, it didn't seem anywhere near as bad as what it sounded. When and why I bought this game in the past, I really don't know. I can only assume I bought it or saw it and it had the word RoboPit on it and thought, oh yeah, I like the first game, I'll buy that. But if I had the ability to go into the past, I'd punch myself in the face and stop me from doing it. Quite frankly, it is the worst game I've ever played. Ultraman has nothing on this. From the janky controls and fighting to the complete lack of content, this is just awful. Maybe the Japanese and American version's better than this, but I really don't want to find out either which way. Also, this game doesn't deserve all the effort that I've gone through to actually show you it. And to be honest, I'm kind of done here. So I've been Tom from VictorPros Gaming. Thanks for watching. Have a great gaming day. I need to go take a bath or something. It's literal trash. Don't worry, that was a Toy Story Racer. This is actually worth some money for some random reason.